Let's go, nerds. Angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle, or you're given two freaking angles. It's the mellow, it's the chill. Let's go look at it. So here's a good example of like how questions are going to be asked to you in this section. There's not a lot. I mean, there will be a couple word problems. They're mostly just kind of solving the triangles and figuring stuff out, how you set it up. But more often than not, the question is solve the triangle, and it gives you three pieces of information. Let's just round everything to two decimal places. I looked at your homework. It appears that almost everything in WebAssign goes to two decimal places. So we'll just round everything to two and get yourself into degrees. Degrees. So we're going to solve this triangle. So I just drew a triangle down here. It's not to scale. Nothing I'm going to draw is to scale. I just need something to write it. So since I make mine the same way every time, it makes this not so bad. You're like, A is equal to 60. You're like, cool. Cool, that's 60. Bang, fixed. Move over, B is equal to 40. Where's that? Right there. All right, so let's slap in 40. And anytime you got two angles, this is great freaking news. Great news. B is equal to 4. All right, let's come over here. We change that into 4. Cool. We got to get side A, side C, and then we got to go get big angle C. That's the game. We got to go get those three things. Here's how we're going to roll through it. So once we're here, I no longer need to look at anything else. We just need to know that angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. If you're given two angles, go get the frickin' third one. You get it for free. Since A and B are, what's A, 60? B is 40. Plus C is equal to 180. Come on, dude. Isn't C equal to 80 degrees? Because 60 plus 40 is equal to 100, and 180 minus 100 is equal to 80. Let's go. You know what I mean? We got that thing dialed in. We got angle C. It's 80 degrees. So you got a couple different options. If you were to be doing this on an exam, like with me, that's the written part. I probably wouldn't do the written part with you on this. You'd have two different options. Like, I like to fill in the triangle. So I'd say like you could either do this or you could fill in the triangle. I like to fill in the triangle because it's a nice visual. So now we're left with two sides. Two sides. Which one do you want to get? A or C? I'm going to go alphabetical order and just I'm going to go get A. I'm going to try and go get this one. So we're going to now use it. We got our law of sines. Let's write it in. Sine of A over side A is equal to sine of angle B over side B, which is equal to sine of angle C over little c. So since we're going for A, we're going to set this thing up. We're like, okay, here it is, those two. So sine of that 60 degrees over A. See, there it is, sine of 60 over A, just like we have with both of those two. So we got that. Oops. So there's our first. And now we're going to set it up with any given ratio that might be given to us. So we're like, shit, that's not a given ratio. I don't know what that is. We're looking for an angle and its side opposite. We need this in order to do the law of sines. That allows us to set it up. Our next piece, or we can say that this is equal to sine of that 40 degrees over 4. And there it is, one more time. There's the 40 degrees, and there's the 4. Once we have this, we now go solve for A. I am begging you, do not do this. Do not just punch these into your calculator and then try and do some algebra with it, because you're going to round your answer, and then you're going to round it again. And then by the time you get to the end of it, you probably will have rounded your answer 3 different times. And now WebAssign won't take it. Now you're getting a shitty grade on your test. And that's not good just because you're trying to round. Why don't we do a little something like this? Why don't we just cross multiply this stuff out? Remember that? So we get 4 times sine of 60 is equal to A times that sine of 40. And now let's divide out that word. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to get away from it. And let's divide out this word, this sine of 40. Oh, beautiful. So we're saying that A is equal to 4 times sine of 60 over sine of 40. So why don't we go and take that, punch it into a calculator, and we go, all right, 4 times sine of 60. I like to hit enter there, and then divided by sine of 40. We get approximately 5.39. Rounding to 2 decimal places. That looks good. So I think I'm going to take this and make this, make that blue and replace it in and go, hey, look, we found it. 5.39. Neat. Neat. So we got our A. We're still charged with having to go find this side C. So we're going to use that same thing. We're going to set it up in the same way we did that here, where we chose to set it up with A. But except we're not going to use this. We're going to use that given ratio, that sine of 40 over 4. I want to use that to set it up for the next one. So here it is. Move off to the side. Go sine of 40 over 4. That was that given ratio that we used back here. And we'll set it up with the last piece of information we need, which is that sine of that 80 degrees that's right there over that C. And now we're solving for C. All right, because they're opposite each other. So we're going to do the same process with the cross multiplication. And I hope you start to look for patterns here. So what are we going to get? What was that? 4 times sine of 80 is equal to C times sine of 40. We're going to divide that sine of 40 over, and we're going to get 4 times sine of 80 all over sine of 40 is equal to C. Hey, look, it's so similar. Look at that sine of 40 in the bottom of the 4 up top, the 4 up top, and the sine of 40 down below. The only difference is something else. I don't know. Recognize patterns. You do a lot of these problems. I would hope you start to catch the trick. So now we go through, we punch that into a calculator, huh? We're going to take 4 times sine of 80, 4 times sine of 80, enter, divided by sine of 40. And I got approximately 6.13. What about you? Approximately 6.13. I think that looks pretty good right there. So now we go and we punch it in. We're like 6.13. We got our last of our answers. So this would be an acceptable way of writing it if you have this on the written portion. Or this would be an acceptable way. Either one would be sufficient. I like the triangle on the left to show that it's all solved. But for you, this is what you're going to be punching into WebAssign. More often than not, it asks you to round to 2 decimal places. So careful with that. And I think that should about do it. So this is the simple case where you're going to do this quite a lot. Get your practice with it because it's going to get a little bit more complex as we go and we start adding 2 sides and just 1 angle. I will see you in the next.